Oh boy, what are we looking at? Yes, today we're doing a tier list of Linux distributions, which has been practically a little fad for like the last couple of years as a whole. Yes, tier list is still a trendy thing to do. Not as trendy, but it's still a thing people do. But yeah, I'm doing it over Linux distributions, and how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna do it by user friendliness and that's going to be a key part. So do not get mad if I don't put Arch or Gentoo at the top spot, okay? It's about user friendliness here, and that's the thing. Like I love Arch, I love Gentoo. I've ran Arch before, I loved it. Okay, I've ran Gentoo before, I loved it, but it's would I recommend those to a new user? No. Like Arch install, if you get GNOME, if you if you boot up the ISO, type them type Arch install into literally the command line for them, press enter, have them pick all the stuff out, which is a bit complicated little menu, but not more than a window, not more than your average. And you have them select the GNOME desktop profile, or well, actually have them select the Cinnamon desktop profile, or something like that, and have them just go forward with that. Yeah, like it's probably gonna be a bit better, but it's that's as practically as much as I could say about Arch. Arch for now when it comes to this. I'll talk more about Arch when I get later, but yeah. So first off, Alpine. Oh, I need to explain these. So first one up here. First thing I would recommend. Basically, these are some of the most user-friendly distros. These are going to be pretty complete. They have the most. You give them a new user, they're going to figure everything out. Most of the necessary things, and even as well as base sysadmin stuff, normal sysadmin stuff, can be done graphically and stuff. And you have user friendly and good, but not a primary recommend. Basically, the same as above, but less stuff can be done graphically and etc. etc. Well, I'd probably put here would be Manjaro. Pretty user friendly out of the box, but terminal knowledge is recommended. Basically, a distro that comes with a desktop environment like GNOME or KDE, like a well-developed desktop environment with a good amount of utilities on it. But you may need some terminal knowledge. You're full on minimal distros. Distros like your terminal ones. Have fun with the metaphorical wrench. I think you can guess what I mean. Basically, distros you can just easily snap into pieces easily. Secret Part 4 to Dante's Divine Comedy. I think you can guess what I mean by that. Distros that literally give you the tour of hell, essentially. And you got the ones I've never used before, so let's get right into it. And first off, we got our boy Alpine. Well, I've used Alpine. Alpine is another minimalist distro. I will put that out there. It is a minimalist distribution. So already it's not getting anywhere above do you like terminals? And to be honest, I'm probably putting it there. Because that's where it probably belongs. So yeah. And in fact, I should probably duplicate that. In fact, hold on, let me duplicate that real quick. Okay, so now I've got that added, just for Linux distributions that are minimal enough that you aren't breaking it easily, but neither is it like I could just yeet it into a terminal immediately, etc. So yeah. Now I think the next option. Now Arch. Arch in the last year has gotten easier to install. I mean by easier. Now, Arch has never been a difficult manual install. It's actually like just only a few commands and you actually got installed. But now it's literally just one command. You type in Arch install and then you just navigate the menu. You literally just install like how you install another distro. Like just navigate down the boxes. It's old school, but it works. And then you select your desktop profile, like what desktop environment you want, like GNOME, KDE, whatever. I've shown those on the channel before. So, and once they basically have some where it just says like type Arch install in on press enter if you want to go through the simple installer or whatever, or it just have it like prompt you up on start if you want to go through manual or install. Then I'd probably actually throw this a bit higher. Yeah, but right now Arch is going right here, and I'm probably going to keep Arch at the very top of Do You Like Terminals. And what is this? I do not know what that is. Ubuntu Budgie. Okay. When it comes to Budgie as a desktop environment, I've never had any good luck with it. Budgie has been practically the easiest thing for me to break. I've broke it in less than like 5 minutes every time I've installed it. But it's possible Ubuntu Budgie can have some tweaks that allow for the distribution in of itself to run Budgie a bit better. But like I said, my experience with Budgie is not well. Thing always crashes for no reason, or just seems to have a critical error from what it seems all the time, regardless of distribution, regardless of what computer I've used it on. And it seems I'm not the only person that has had it, so yeah. Do you like terminals? Well, I'm actually going to put it in pretty user friendly out of the box, but terminal knowledge is recommended. And basically to say, like, if this thing breaks, be prepared to enter a TTY, type in your login information, and do sudo space apt space, and then a desktop environment, which is either Plasma-desktop or GNOME-desktop, something like that. Press enter, and then once it basically is halted for like a second, press Y, press enter, and it should start doing this little thing. Right there. CentOS. Again, a distro I've never used for, but I may be able to speak a little bit for it. Nah, I never used it. Debian, I'd say this is I don't know. Okay, one thing breaks in this. Okay, one thing breaks and the other does not. But Debian, you have this. Actually, hold on. Never mind, Debian's staying right there, so. Yeah. So yeah, Debian's practically toppled Arch right there when it comes to user friendliness overall. Deepin, it's user friendly. I will give it that. And that's what I'll put it up there as. And I'm not the biggest Deepin fan. I'm not the biggest Deepin user. I've used the Deepin desktop multiple times before. Yeah. I'm just going to put that right there. So, Elementary OS. Another one I'd really recommend. It's based on Ubuntu. It has some good utilities off the bat, and that you can practically use and yeah. And also it's pretty professional, and that's one of the things I like about it. And now Fedora. Fedora's actually been getting pretty better about itself. And a lot of people are now like being like, "Oh, I recommend Fedora out of the box." Well, I'm not the person who recommends Fedora out of the box, as there are some extra things you have to get done on it. Some other things you probably have to do, like adding groups and stuff, have to be done exclusively through terminal. But at least you got Flatpak stuff already done by default, I'm sure. And other stuff. But yeah, I'm putting it at the back of user friendly and good, and not but not a primary recommend. So Gentoo. Yeah. For one, you got the fact you got compiler thing. For number two, installation is not that bad, but takes some time. If you're not too well versed in computers, you're going to screw something up definitely. That's what I'm going to say. And also, if you got a crappy computer, you're going to wait 10 hours compiling a web browser. You know, also, the kernel still takes a while to compile. Not days, but it just takes an hour. It takes a few hours, okay. Kali Linux. The Script Kiddies operating system, basically. Like that's how I see it. I know I got fans of Kali Linux in the they're going to be in the comments or watching this, but when it comes to Kali Linux, I have not tried it before. I may end up trying it though. And for fun, I may actually try like running it as a daily driver at some point just for fun and try gaming on it a little bit. Because why not? But the thing is, I see a lot of people downloading Kali Linux, installing it, and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm hacker man. I'll hack into your computer. I will DDoS your website. Oh look, server. Hey yo, fear me, I can take down your dude. Just because you got Wireshark on your computer, just because you got Kali Linux and a VM, you got more to go, kiddo. Kali Linux just the first step. It's just the Linux distro, man. But overall, though, it has some stuff on it. Ubuntu. Already, this thing, it's basically KDE versions of Ubuntu. If you come from Windows, you're gonna find the layout very, and I mean very familiar. In fact, this is why it's going up here. Like way up here. I'm guessing this is Ubuntu Kylin. Again, not something I tried out. Just gonna go down there. Linux Mint. I've used Linux Mint before. It has a lot of good stuff on it. If you come from Windows, if you come from Windows, you will love Linux Mint with a passion. It has basically a lot of the user friendliness that I've been wanting to see in a Linux distribution for a long time. That half of the user friendly distributions have not put in. Or have like been like, well, I'm gonna let GNOME do it. Even though GNOME's progressing down the further and further down the let's take half the crap out of the desktop environment route in the name of user friendliness. Yeah, now we can't even add our user to any more groups other than admin on our dang desktops. But oh wait, use Linux Mint? You can do that from the settings manager instead of having to pop into a terminal. And that's one of the things, and there's many more things you can do on Linux Mint. It has a good software manager, many other stuff. It has a lot of good apps off the bat. Good customization. Like Cinnamon overall is a really customizable desktop off the bat. If you don't like KDE, you'll love Cinnamon. That's all. That's what I'm gonna say. Manjaro. Yeah, when it comes to Manjaro, I keep screwing up half the time, but I'm not sure where to put Manjaro on this. But Manjaro has more than Fedora, but it has PAMAC and stuff, which grants you to a very, very, very big repository of applications. It goes ahead of Fedora in many ways. Like, the people are always like, but it's rolling. But Manjaro is not rolling release. It's a stable distribution. I'm gonna put it right there. Also, its layout, unless you're using the GNOME layout, it's familiar to a Windows user. Next off, Ubuntu Mate. Off the bat, Ubuntu Mate is tied with Linux Mint. Ubuntu Mate, for one, is probably in my opinion the best flavor of Ubuntu you can get. It's fast. If you like if you like GNOME 2, if you're nostalgic for the eras of GNOME 2, for the days of GNOME 2, you're going to love Ubuntu Mate. In fact, it basically modernizes GNOME 2. And another reason why I like it is because it kind of also keeps apps. Like tells them, hey, kind of keeps apps from like your 1080p screen is a 4K screen or whatever, but like have a giant title bars. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the problem I keep having. Like, I'm just hating with all these operating systems and applications now. They keep adding like your screen's 4K or touchscreen or whatever. Like, geez. No need to take up half my screen space. I want to go back to the days where I could fit like 5 instances of 15 instances of File Explorer on my screen. Now I can only fit 2. Nitrix. So here's the thing. There's 2 ways to take it. When it comes to off the bat user friendliness, it can go pretty high up there. When it comes to Nitrix, you don't want to use a terminal at all. I'd say Nitrix goes at the very back. I wouldn't recommend it. It's user friendly, but I'm not recommending it. I have no clue what that is. Peppermint, I've not used you before. Pop OS, Ubuntu with some tweaks. That's what I see. That's what I see, and now as a dock stuff on screen. At this point, it's another good recommend. I'd recommend to the average user. Yeah, I've used it before. I've loved it. Pop Shop is amazing. If y'all want to try it out. In fact, they're working on a new desktop environment to replace GNOME, and this time it's made from Rust. I don't give too much of a crap about Rust though. But from what I've seen, it's actually starting to look good. And Pop OS is also made by a hardware manufacturer, System 76. So you know they got hardware as a priority. Now, Red Hat. I have not tried Red Hat Enterprise Linux, but I am thinking about reviewing a trial version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. That's what I'm thinking about. So, again, the hat's going in here. The red fedora is going in there. Rocky Linux. In fact, I should probably make another category for distros that I wouldn't recommend, but are just user friendly. Okay, I created the new group, so I think we're gonna move some down there. Here, what else can get yeeted? We're bumped up. Yeah. Slackware. Okay, before I start getting up like everything thrown at me for where I'm putting Slackware, here's the thing with Slackware. Slackware is rarely updated. Like, it was recently updated to 15.0, like earlier this year or last year. I'm not sure. And the last time it was updated for that, I think, was back in 2016. Slackware barely has much of a package manager. If it does, it's mostly for only the most crucial of packages out there. Like a very, very base system packages, even that's going to get a little screwy at some point. And plus you got Slack build stuff, which, and you got people, like, the thing just gets confusing. Also, you can't barely find a Slack build for dang, or some of the most popular applications out there. So what am I look? And how do you switch a desktop environment anyways? Without having to build GNOME from source. Yeah. Solus. I have not tried Solus out, but I will tell y'all, it's on my list of distros to try out. It does not look like any of these down here. It's going up here. SUSE. OpenSUSE would be one of the first things I'd recommend. And I'm serious. And there are multiple reasons why. Yast is perfect. That's one of the biggest reasons. And allows you to do so much. Repositories are big. Just make sure you get the Tumbleweed version. Now, you got base Ubuntu. It goes behind Ubuntu. Void. You like terminals? XFCE. No. This is Ubuntu. I think this provides some stuff for like Mate as well, but not as much. And Zorin. Oh, that's on par. So yeah, that is Builder Shed or my tier list of Linux distributions based on user friendliness. So about the first thing I'd recommend, we got Linux Mint and Ubuntu Mate tied with the runner-ups being OpenSUSE and Pop! OS. Right below that, and user friendly and good, but not my primary recommends. You got Zorin or an OS, Ubuntu to Elementary OS, Debian, in fact I can probably move this, Manjaro, Fedora, and Ubuntu. User friendly but not recommended for a new user. Rocky Linux and Nitrix. And pretty user friendly out of the box, but terminal knowledge is recommended. Got Kali, which you could barely dang see. Debian. And you got my boy Budgie. You like terminals? Arch. At the very top of the thing, if I really wanted to, it may, at some point, depending on the Arch devs, it could easily bump right up here. It's literally in between. You got Void, and then you got Alpine. You want to spend 5 hours in terminal? Yes. So yeah, this is and the secret part 4 to Dante's Divine Comedy that was never written, but was written back in the early 90s, or dare I say recovered. Slackware Linux. Supposedly, it came before, what was it? I thought the name was, I forgot the name, but yeah. And yeah, this is it, y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Make sure to leave y'all's thoughts on the Linux distribution tier list down in the comments below, and see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.